we're coming to you from Milk Estates, where Triss survived Hurricane Milton, so she can tell us all about that. Did any cocaine, or cocaines?
No cocaine washed up here.
Hello, what?
Right, maybe. I mean, you are over down to Miami, right? Maybe one of those boats that are coming across, with a bunch of drugs, like decided to wash up on your, yard.
It's not uncommon. It's not uncommon.
So
the coconuts are secure.
They're secure.
Yeah.
Are you sure? Because I think they're not very secure in that red dress.
I was going to say, what are we talking about? They're really not. I keep adjusting because I don't want to anything come out, hurt somebody. No, there were no stray coconuts anywhere. It was pretty windy and there was crap all in my backyard, like in my pool and stuff. But other than that, like some of the palm branches are down. Yeah. So I have to get the guys up there you're supposed to get them, I guess, trimmed anyways, which I haven't done, but it's fairly expensive. It's like $40 a tree.
Say to do it, but I also think when you live in hurricane weather, I mean, those trees are built for hurricanes, right? That's why they're in the tropical area. So I think it naturally, those winds knock all the crap off the tree.
Yeah, it's trimmed now. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah, you don't need to do anything.
Everything that needs to come off, came off.
Yeah.
Okay, so did it come down to it came down to like a category 2 or 1, or was it just like a tropical storm?
It hit landfall at a category 3, but I believe as soon as it hit landfall, the eye started kind of falling apart basically. And it quickly went down to like 2 and then 1. And then it like went way north. It was supposed to kind of hit a little bit where I am. And I was just like, just a touch north. Cause I was kind of right on the cone of, I forget what that's called, but basically the cone where it could go anywhere in that little section. Yeah. And I was right on the line of that. And then it just went up north. So I was very thankful for that. The worst weather was actually Wednesday before it even landed, I think. Now, it was definitely windy on Thursday. It's really not very windy out here, especially not my backyard because it's so closed in. But it was actually very beautiful. The trees.
Wasn't Wednesday when all the tornadoes hit?
Wednesday, yes. Wednesday was when the tornadoes started. There were like 15 in my county alone. So actually the people that lost their lives closer to me were from tornadoes, not even from the hurricane. Right. So it's pretty crazy to see some of the damage so close, like 15 miles, away from me. But
and that you guys didn't get in front of the hurricane, but you still had deadly tornadoes. It's just
so right. It's crazy. I think Florida maybe had like 40 confirmed. It could be more than that, but
tornadoes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so it's pretty. It's pretty wild. Right?
You don't think of tornadoes in Florida, right? I mean,
but when it's exactly, like when you're talking about with a hurricane, and this one this one was interesting. Like all of the wind patterns, it was just all over the place. So I guess I'm kind of not surprised about the tornadoes, but I'm very happy that we didn't get anything crazy. I was all prepared. I had my little survival backpack with all my stuff I've been collecting.
I was texting her. So I have a couple friends that live like in the vicinity there, and they had left, but they were posting all these different reminders and tips. So I would be like, "Oh, this one's good. I don't know if you thought about that." So I kept texting her.
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel like if you get prepared, which I had never been prepared before for anything, but if you remember when we were worried about those levees breaking sometime back.
Yeah.
And you were like, make a go bag, get your together. And I did. And then, and with the wildfires too, it was like, okay, if you just have it together, then you don't have to worry about it. It doesn't mean you think something's going to happen, but it was just put you at ease, because then if you're rushing out in a panic, well, you just grab that thing and then you go.
I agree. Yeah. Like it felt so much better to be prepared. Like I already keep a lot of water on hand. I had MREs and some other, like some fruits and veggie kind of MRE type stuff. So, but yeah, I was prepared and I didn't have to be, thank goodness. So
then you just leave it there. Next time, if something happens, well, you still got it.
Yeah.
Because MRE lasts several years.
Forever, right?
Yeah. Like I think I got
like 25 years, I think.
Right. Like I think I got new ones and I checked them 5 years later and I was like, oh, I guess they're still fine.
Yeah. Well, the fruits and veggie ones, and I don't know, maybe it's the same for all of these, but they're kind of packaged all together, all the servings. So I think they last a year after you open them. So if you don't use them, it's 25 years. So Yeah,
that's pretty
I'm okay
good.
with that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, so speaking of that, Emery's, what's your snack for this week?
Okay, so you guys know, our producer thought we were joking. We made Thanksgiving dinner during the storm, which kind of was like, it was very interesting because that Wednesday we kept losing all of the power was going in and out. And I had the neighbor come over and help me look at the generator. And it was still, I think because it's not really been used before, it's only actually, I found out only like 2 or 3 years old. So I don't know why it was having issues, but maybe because it hasn't really run before. Anyway, so like I kept getting stopped in between making stuff. I only did the sweet potato casserole today. I was so hungry before this. I actually did eat some dressing and cranberry sauce. I was like trying to think. I don't know why I feel so hungry. I'm hot. I
Did
don't
you go
know.
to the gym this morning?
I did. Yeah, I'm always more hungry on gym days. But
what is that?
It's my sweet potato casserole, but you got to burn the
Oh,
marshmallows.
yeah, I
Like,
do that too.
I love to have the crispy burn on it.
I could hear you bruleeing something, and Matt was like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "Oh, she's definitely torching something over there."
Yeah, my little torch.
I thought it might be a creme brulee, though, is what I thought you might have.
Yeah,
Ooh, that sounds
creme
better.
brulee sounds good. Although I did find a creme brulee cheesecake I might have to make, but they just did the creme brulee on the top. I feel like I would eat the top layer of the cheesecake and then re-creme brulee it.
Well, all you have to do to brulee anything is just sprinkle sugar on there and torch it. So technically, eat the top layer off, just put a pile of sugar and then torch that too, and
that's
and
exactly
yummy.
what I thought.
So
Yeah.
good.
So sweet potato casserole is great because it's really sweet, of course, and it's like you have a little bit on your plate for the meal, and then when you wait a little bit and you're like, I want dessert, and you get more sweet potato casserole. It's so good.
See,
But it's all carbs. It's all
I
carbs.
love sweet potatoes, but I don't like it with a bunch of stuff added. So what I normally do for holidays, but it's like my father-in-law, who was also grew up in the South, is like one of his favorite things. So I basically roast some sweet potatoes, and then I make a small sweet potato casserole that a few people will eat, and then that way everybody's happy.
Yeah, we do it like the most unhealthy way possible, but it's only a couple times a year we make it, so.
Well, I think it's fine. I just don't. It's too like it makes my teeth hurt, but I think is. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, I got inspired after your Thanksgiving dinner because we had just got back in our house and haven't cooked in like a month. So I made like a big throwdown Southern dinner.
I remember that.
Yeah,
I saw
that
you had
picture.
You like chicken and greens and
fried chicken, braised greens, mashed potatoes, cornbread, and I made it again yesterday because the kids wanted it again. So it was like Friday and Sunday. But yesterday I also added a squash casserole, which is so weird because like a lot of I definitely make some Southern food, but there's some stuff I just don't really ever make I don't know why. I never think to make casseroles. I grew up eating them. There's nothing wrong with the casserole. I just never think to make them. And so literally one of my kids was like, "What's a casserole?" I'm like, "What? How do you not know that?" And then I felt like, am I doing them a disservice by not exposing them to some of this stuff?
No. I think it's actually I do like casseroles because I have 3 boys and it's easier to feed everybody and you have leftovers.
I can't do squash though. You make some of your stuff is like
a butternut squash is so good.
No, this is like super country. It's like yellow squash, like summer squash with cheese and some other stuff. You mix it and then you put crushed Ritz crackers on the top. And I made it and it was like, well, I don't know if it wasn't as good as my mom's or if it's just something about the nostalgia of it makes me think it's better. Mm-hmm. But one of the kids liked it and one didn't. And I was like, it's totally fine. But it was like, it was nice to make something different, I guess.
So with this, well, I'll talk to you offline about that. I want that recipe. That kind of sounds good because I like doing like butternut squash and black beans, like enchiladas and stuff like that.
I love making spaghetti squash. Like I love the winter squashes. This was totally different than that. Like not even remotely nutritional or anything. It was like
no squash, no tomatoes, no zucchini, no mushrooms.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. We should talk one day. We should do talk about our Thanksgiving menus before. Like in a couple weeks. Maybe.
Yes, we could do that. Well, speaking of like food, we're going to go into a listener question of like, and we kind of think we talked about this last year. Like, what is your favorite Halloween candy? And I'm going to go first before I eat them all, but you all know what mine is.
M&Ms.
No.
M&Ms. I can't see what you have.
She got candy corn.
Candy corn.
Oh, we talked about.
Remember?
I don't. Yeah. Of all the things that I eat.
I think it's so horrifying that I sort of blocked it out. I can't accept that anyone likes to eat colored wax.
It's not. It's just sugar, colored sugar.
It's disgusting. It's like eating candle wax to me.
You would think I would like that. Wax. Yeah,
you would think,
I agree.
But it's horrible.
No, I only brought in the little candy corns, but they have pumpkin ones, which are really cute too.
There's all kinds of candy corn type stuff now, and I'm just like, is there a demand for this, that they're making all these different products?
It's been around forever. There's got to be some demand. I mean, clearly people like it.
I mean, I know some people do, but I just feel like almost, it's really.
So then what's your favorite Halloween candy?
Oh, I'll tell you what, it's not candy corn.
It's definitely,
it's not candy corn. It's not Almond Joy. I don't like
Almond Joy is good.
I mean, I like the same candy that I normally like. Like if there's Smarties, I steal those from people. I like Twix and Kit Kat. I'll eat a Butterfinger at Halloween for sure.
Reese's peanut butter cups, the old school Snickers. So we're basically all the candy except for those two are the favorites.
Exactly. Oh, you know what else I hate are the weird fruit candies. I mean, I love like Sour Patch Kids and stuff, but like the other day, one of my kids' friends was over and they went to the gas station and got candy, and there was like a box of Mike and Ike's, and I was like, what?
Oh, I like Mike and Ike's.
I've never even seen anyone eat a Mike and Ike in my life, and I'm like, you bought that on purpose?
Yeah, I like the cinnamon ones.
Those aren't bad. Yeah. I was eating also lemon heads when I was out.
Oh, lemon heads are good.
Ooh, yeah, those are good.
I like the tart stuff, but the Mike
and Ike,
the worst is the Runts. Do y'all remember that candy?
No,
I could eat them, but they're not great. But
what about Nerds in the box?
Oh, Nerds are delicious.
Yeah, right?
Nerds on a rope too, or the little nerd balls where it's like a gummy.
I don't like it when they're chewy. I don't.
Yeah,
I'm
it's crunchy and chewy.
I know it's
when you get the Nerds rope.
I like the regular one.
All right, Trace, what is yours?
Yeah, kind of all of them. I think peanut butter cups are my go-to right now. I've been on this kick for a little while. Like 6 months. Yeah. I sort of switch it around, like I go back to Oreos and then I do something else. But I've been getting the tubs of cookie dough lately. I know that's not Halloween candy, but let's just call it the big cup peanut butter cups because that's what I've been eating.
Oh, yeah, those are good.
But they have to be Halloween-ish. So, I mean, you're like in a little Halloween package.
Oh, you know what? The different shaped peanut butter cups, like the pumpkin ones, I do think those are delicious. And I like how the different ratios, like when you get Christmas
like the bunny ones. I love
the bunny ones, they all kind of taste a little bit different, but in a good way. It's kind of amazing.
It is interesting that they're different.
The same exact ingredients, just different ratios, and it's like a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
So funny. Yes.
All right. Well, thanks for that question. I think that was a question last year because I remember talking about Halloween candy last year, and then Tris, you brought in some Halloween cupcakes too.
Oh, that's right.
Remember that? Those were super cute.
Those were delicious. I don't think I live by a small cakes anymore. Maybe I do.
But you have to find someplace has to have them,
I know.
All right. Are you guys going to dress up for Halloween?
Yeah,
I'm so bad at it. I'm so bad at like you would think that I would want to dress up, but no, I don't know.
I got to think about that real quick. I always do something regarding a cat, and they're usually like creative but bad, like bad on purpose, kind of. But I haven't thought of one for this year. I've been a catstronaut, a bat cat. Professor McGonagall from Harry Potter as her animagus is a cat.
Yes.
I've been
smelly cat.
How do you? Would I dress up like Phoebe?
You could dress up like Phoebe, and have a guitar and walk around with Ramsey.
I could do that. Well, no, I have to use stuffed cat. Ramsey's he went out to the hotel and he came back and he did not like it either time. I mean, he'll go out on a leash in the neighborhood, but he
walking your cat.
He did not like being in the carrier. He actually peed in the carrier on the way.
Because he's a cat. Cats aren't supposed to be out on a leash.
No, he's fine with that. I'm saying when you put him in the carrier and carry him, he hates it. In this short trip from the house to the hotel, like literally 5 minutes, he peed, and I was like, dude, come on. But yeah, you can take him outside. So maybe if we have to take him somewhere next time, we'll just not put him in the carrier and just have like his harness and leash on him, I guess.
Yeah. I think it's hard, right? Because you're in a box and then you're like all caged in.
Yeah,
you're like, what's going on? Things are moving and you can't really get his bearings. And
he's like wobbling.
Yeah.
Like,
he's pissed at you.
I think I asked on my Instagram what people thought I should be for Halloween like 2 weeks ago, and I got a lot of what's Roger Rabbit's wife? Jessica Rabbit. Yeah, I'd have to get a red wig, I guess. If
have you seen remember Jessie Switch when she does her Roger Rabbit one? Oh my god, it's insane.
Oh,
she has red hair.
Yeah. Well, it always looks better, I think, on the girls that have the natural red. I've seen a couple of them done. And then the chick from who's like the blonde something squad. What is it? The Joker's girlfriend. I don't know why I can't remember the name of any of these people.
I don't know. I never watched any of those movies. So
Harley Quinn. There we go. Harley Quinn.
Oh yeah.
I feel like everybody was her for like 2
I know. Years. I'm like, can we pick something that's not like common? And then Catwoman was the other one, which would be fun, I think, to get a full bodysuit. But
that'd be good for you.
To dress up. I don't know.
It's hard to get into full bodysuit things. Like somebody was asking me the other day. I had posted a picture from like 2 years ago in like the latex looking leggings. Like, can you make some pictures for me in that? I'm like, first of all, ain't nobody got time for that. I don't have time. So 2 hours getting into some pants to take some pictures. You'll have to look at the old ones because I do not have time for that. Especially if you're like having hot flashes and sweaty all the time. Imagine trying to wrestle into latex pants.
Right?
No, that just sounds awful. You don't
I got that. There was like a hot pink latex Honey Burdette skirt that I ended up getting, and I haven't even tried it on because I'm just like, I have to be mentally prepared for the work that's going to take to get my butt in that thing.
You gotta like put powder on or something to be able to get
right.
It's a lot of effort.
Right, exactly.
That's a hard no.
Right.
No, it's not going to happen. All right, so let's switch over to football. So I have been deer hunting, so I have not been paying attention to anything. Oh, I went to a conference for 2 days.
Yeah.
Awesome. So this conference was awesome. Chelsea Clinton was a speaker there. Her and her mother do an amazing job in their foundation. Won't go into it, but basically helping protect women's rights across all different states, and was very big about like protecting them. And her and her mom are doing a documentary right now. So regardless of like what your political beliefs are, I think as a woman, I am very passionate about like what she's trying to do.
Yeah. Nobody make this political because it's not.
We're not. I just think it's like, I just applaud them for bringing awareness to like how certain decisions have been made.
I'll just keep my mouth shut.
It's about women in business, right? Is that the point?
Yeah, but I mean, she went in a little bit about like she does her foundation. Part of the foundation she works on is they do these documentaries, bringing awareness about women's health and issues, which I find as a woman, regardless of what your political beliefs are, I think women should have access to all different types of like, care. We'll just say that. Keep it very general.
A good example of making that specific issue not being political is like if you think about like maternal health care. Like why do we have such a high maternal death rate during labor in the U.S., for example? And that's not political. That's not about abortion.
And then there's certain races that have higher death rates than others, and that's just as a woman again and a mother. That is very appalling that we live in as a very technically like stable society, and we have the largest economy, and women are still dying in childbirth. Right.
And a huge part of that, I think, is doctors just not taking what women say seriously. And I'm sure we've all had that. I've had it happen before too.
Oh, I have it when I was going through menopause. They didn't take me seriously, and I'm, they're just like, you're fine.
Right, like, no, something's wrong right now. This is not okay.
I know my body, but no, men want to tell, like, they want to rule the world, and
Well, even women doctors are terrible. I mean, I had it when I was having my first. I had my same doctor the whole pregnancy, and then when I was doing my intake, like 2 weeks before, or whatever you call it, pre-registration, I met with the chief resident, and she was super like judgy and lecturing me on stuff and acting like my birth plan wasn't going to be adhered to. And I'm like, what are you doing? She basically was of the belief that if a woman has a C-section, they're not really a mother and not really giving birth. And she didn't want to do a C-section. I'm like, what is going on? Like, I thought it was so insane. Wild. But like my old school doctor was super helpful, and basically we created this plan together, and then she was trying to impose her beliefs on me. And to me, it doesn't matter if the belief is over here, whatever. It's like, no, this is like me.
That's your decision, what you want to do with your body.
Mm-hmm. And then I had the opposite experience when I moved to Sacramento to have my second. It was a Catholic hospital. I didn't realize, because I wanted to get my tubes tied because I was having a C-section, and they wouldn't do it because Catholic hospital won't do that. And I was like, but I'm like 31 years old, I have a stable home, a master's degree, and you're telling me I can't make decisions about my health. And I thought that was insane that they would want you to have a whole other surgery and put your life at risk, right? To do something they could do in about 10 minutes when they're already in there. So, I feel like I've seen a bunch of different sides and people with all kinds of different beliefs that are just focused on putting those on people. It's like, no.
And I also think that their doctors, I mean, they are specialized and highly educated towards that, and they look at a bunch of statistics and they understand the risk involved with everything. And I take that, I'll take all that into consideration. That's on you, but still, this is my decision. Just like if you're dying of a terminal illness and you decide that, hey, I don't want to fight I don't want to fight anymore. I'm rather die peacefully, whatever your beliefs are. It's like, I think people have the rights to make the decisions they want to make regardless. Right. Anyways,
I think so too. If you're not hurting anyone and it's not illegal, then
yeah. So anyways, that was a very interesting talk. Marissa Myers, who used to run Yahoo, she was a CEO. She was there talking about her new corporation company. So mainly it was all these C-suite executive women that are just bad asses, and then VCs, entrepreneurs, met a lot of like lovely, like great people there, just friendly. It's funny because like when you have that type of those women in an environment like that, they're not bitchy towards each other, and they're not like, I'm trying to one up you or I'm better than you, because they're all there to like for a purpose, and that's like to uplift women and be like, and just give them, hey, our side of like what we see here, dealing with these type of issues. So it was good. Cool. Then went straight from there up to deer hunting. So I didn't get anything yet, so fingers crossed. I'll go back up a couple days. All right, so speaking of sports, I went to my sport, hunting. Now we're going to go to the playoffs with baseball. So what happened?
I mean,
Annabelle?
Well, ultimately what happened is the Padres were in a position to win the series, and instead they didn't score a run for 2.5 games. So they did not. And
wow, how did that happen?
I don't know. I mean, the Padres in the beginning of the season, they had this thing where they were just like lifeless. And you'd be like, you guys don't even look like you're having fun or you're trying. You're just like sad and limp. And they just like reverted to that. I don't know why. I mean, there's been lots of talk. There was a whole bunch of drama with the Dodgers series and stuff. But I mean, ultimately, if you don't score runs for 2.5 games, you're not going to advance. So, it's sad. I muted the term Padres in a whole bunch of baseball stuff. So I don't on my social media, so I don't have to like come across it. Because what's interesting is like Dodger fans, I mean, they're notoriously the worst fan base in terms of fighting, being awful. I love the Padres. I talk about them, whatever, but I never once have I like sought out a Dodgers fan or a Dodgers player just to like harass them about losing or whatever. Like 2 years ago, the Padres beat the Dodgers in the NLDS. And then it never occurred to me to just like go on a rampage on social media and harass people. But Dodgers fans love that. I mean, they fight at most stadiums. I mean, it's really bizarre. So I just don't want to see any of that. It's totally unnecessary. Like, I don't want to argue about somebody. The season's over. You know what I mean? So what's the point? So anyway, it sucks because the team had the ability to be great, and then they just weren't. So
did you go to the game on Friday night?
No, it was in LA, and
okay.
That stadium is a shithole.
What, LA or
Dodger Stadium? Oh, like, okay, I am so glad I didn't go to any of the games there. I thought about them, but ultimately I was like, my God, if you go to Dodger Stadium and your team loses, it just seems like a really horrible environment. Like, you might get beat up. Like, you just don't know what's going to happen. So, plus it's a lot of money to go watch your team lose. And I really struggle. I'm not like people that can just kind of have fun no matter what. Like, when my team loses, it's not fun. We had a game because I'll be like, oh, great, I spent $3,000 to come here and my team lost. That sucks.
Yeah. I mean, I would be disappointed about that. too.
Yeah. So I was not about to go. And that stadium really is, it is just gross. It's cold. They can't even hardly ever fill up their own stadium. So,
but you were at the games last week.
Right? I went to one in San Diego at Petco Park on Tuesday, which they won. And so I'm glad I at least went to the good one and didn't go to one where they lost.
Okay.
You know, it helps with the feelings. And I struggle with that too, because I always want to go to these college football games. But I'm like, man, it's going to be so much effort to get there for the game. It's a lot of money. Oh, I'll be like, oh yeah, I really want to go to this game, but do I really want to spend all that money and effort and traveling? Because I always think, well, if you lose, then it's just such a bummer, So I don't know that I'll be going to any college football games this week.
So how was the Padres game on Tuesday night?
It was super fun. I mean, it was amazing. The vibes were amazing. I mean, the other team hit a grand slam and we still won barely. So, it was super fun. And when stuff like that happens, you just kind of think, okay, we're going to do it. We're up 2-1. We just got to win one more game. And they absolutely just did not. They did absolutely nothing. So.
I thought you said something interesting happened at the game.
Some chick.
You saw something about some girl who maybe was having a little bit too much fun.
Oh God!
I'm trying to tee it up for you.
Sorry, guys. I'm clueless or obtuse. So we, I sit in this nice club level seats, and I took our producer Matt with me and one of my other friends, and there was this girl in front of us. It wasn't the normal season ticket holder in that seat. This chick was like going bonkers, jumping up and down, cheering, having the time of her life for like the first 2 innings. And then all of a sudden it's like, wait, what's going on? This chick barfs. Now this is like a super luxe club area. So she like barfed on the plexiglass in front of her. All over the row. And
that's gross.
So then you've got this guy, these poor stadium workers are having to come up and clean up after her. Like when they clean up at elementary school, they're like sprinkling that sawdust on the floor and soaking it up. And I don't know. I just feel like as a service worker,
they should make her clean it up.
Right.
You should be cleaning up your own.
I support that.
She disappeared. Like I went to the bathroom, and when I was coming out of the bathroom, she was going in, and we never saw her again. So she never returned to her seats. I don't know.
Hanging out in the toilet stall there.
Super embarrassed. Like I just threw up. Yeah. Or she passed out in the bathroom.
Right. Yeah. But I'm thinking you were with somebody. You guys probably spent $2,000 for these tickets.
Just to come and get.
Just to come barf in the third inning.
God. I just don't understand it.
I mean, I like to drink too and have fun, but I'm like, I would not want to, like, there's a time and place for that type of drunkenness. It's not
like why I don't want to get all like dolled up and get out to a game or to wherever just to look like a hot mess halfway through.
Right.
I don't understand.
Right, because then your eyes are going to be watering and like
your mascara is running. You throw up all over your shirt. Like that's not hot, girl.
You spend a minimum of $2,500 to come here and barf everywhere and then ruin the game for a while for your seatmates. Like, come on.
Well, I do have to say, we went to dinner with Liz Marie I think about a month ago. And I told you about this story, right? Where like it was at a steakhouse and a casino. It was supposed to be really nice. It ended up being like best food we've ever had. Like
I remember that part.
Right. But did I tell you like so she was drinking and I was like keeping up with her like 1-to-1. It's like 4 drinks later. Right, in like 2 hours, and it's like I'm a lightweight. A couple drinks, I'm like, woo, this is good. And I started to have like I was drinking martinis, and finally and the food was awful. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna go throw up.
That's more respectable.
And then it's like, and then that was like
in public.
Oh yeah, and then I was like, I'm good. I'm like, we're gonna go gamble now. Let's go.
Yeah. I don't know anyone who can keep up with her drinking wise.
Who
can? Oh my gosh, Liz Marie.
She can drink.
She's like drinking straight vodka.
Oh, she was over on the rocks. I was like, damn. I went from water.
She doesn't act a fool or be awful. She just has a high alcohol tolerance.
I'm like, I can't even. I've been trying to get that tolerance up to drink with her. I can't.
No,
I can't.
I'll be like, I'm just gonna have some club soda and lime and hang out. Like, I can't drink anymore.
Oh, I was drinking high noons up in the desert.
Oh yeah, I do like those.
Yeah,
if I need
just
a portable
stick
drink.
to getting baked.
I was drinking high noons, and then I ran out of high noons. So then I got a bunch of Trulies, and those are awful.
They're awful compared to, I've drank the Trulies before a long time ago, but then when the High Noons came out, I tried them and I'm like, oh my God, this is a million times better. The Trulies taste like trash now.
And I bought 2 different like boxes at the gas station because that's where you're at, in the middle of nowhere. Just trying to like, okay, what do I want? Do I want like
the citrus flavors? Are the only ones that are palatable to me because everything else tastes like artificial flavor. It's nasty.
Yeah, it is. It has like some type of weird aftertaste.
Yeah, it's aspartame. I think it's like tastes like artificial shit.
Yeah, so I just basically was like, we're done. I'm like, thank goodness I brought champagne out to the desert.
Right?
Never leave home without it.
Right.
So I also missed all the college football and NFL. So tell me, like,
college football was fun.
This weekend college football, we had a continuous text chain, me and Triss and her, all day about it, because it started out, Alabama played early in the day, and I was at the kids' water polo games, and I do the film. So I have like my camera set up, but I'm also like watching the games on my phone and getting updates from them. Yeah. Alabama came very close to losing a second week in a row. They looked like trash.
They're just barely making it. Like they're not blowing anybody out of the water right now. They're just skimming by, which is unfortunate.
And Georgia's the same way. It's funny because I even thought like, wow, well, Alabama's just really good this year. Plus Georgia has a psychological block against them. But it was like actually the best. Alabama's played good football for like 2 quarters of the season, and it was the first 2 quarters against Georgia. They almost blew that huge lead. Yeah. Now I'm not trash talking Alabama because Georgia looks awful also, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And so Georgia beat Mississippi State, but it was definitely Georgia's offense finally looked good and their defense was trash. So
yeah,
it was a very interesting day. It was frustrating. I mean, if those are your 2 teams, you're glad they win. But Georgia, they have the hardest schedule this year. They play Texas on the road next week. And if they look like they did Saturday, Texas is going to score 98 points and have 800 yards of offense.
Who are they playing?
Texas, who's number 1 in the nation. I think Texas is the only SEC school that's undefeated. And they look like they can be national champions.
Yeah.
They really do.
It's unfortunate. Good for them, but it's unfortunate.
Exactly. It's unfortunate. I think if Georgia plays up to their 100% best, they could beat Texas. I do not see it happening, honestly.
Well, we need you guys to take care of everybody else and get them a loss.
That's the thing with 2 losses. They were talking about, if Alabama lost Saturday with 2 losses, could they get into the playoffs? And the consensus was no, because they don't have the strength of schedule to make up for those 2 losses. Yeah. If Georgia loses to Alabama and Texas, it's on the fence because they still might because they have such a tough schedule. But the other teams, I feel like it was the Oregon-Ohio State game was fantastic.
This love game that. Yeah.
Bonkers. And I'm going to root for Oregon. So Oregon's coach was the Georgia's defensive coordinator during their national championships. And he's awesome. Dan Lanning, great guy. So rooting for him for sure. But Oregon looked great. Ohio State actually also looked great. Oregon won. But it was one of those, could have gone either way at the last
There's second. Been several games where it's neck and neck. Either most of the time or after half, it gets to where somebody catches up and then you have no idea who's going to win. So,
because I think there's way more, and I've said this before, there's way more parity in college football than there ever has been. And specifically in the SEC, it's remarkable because everyone is pretty decent. Vanderbilt looked amazing. They won again this weekend and they're the ones that beat Alabama. They're on a roll. It's like the teams that you could count on comfortably beating before is not happening. And I think it's just there's more parity. I don't think it's because Alabama or Georgia are actually terrible. I think the other schools are just overall getting better and being able to get better recruits, especially in the SEC, is what I'm seeing. Because there's still some teams like Penn State. They almost lost to USC, but they haven't really played anyone hard. Miami, not really anyone hard. So some of the teams that are undefeated really may not be as good as they look, but I think Texas is as good as they look.
Let's go ahead and celebrate that Colorado loss.
Colorado almost won.
Yeah.
Was it?
I'm being a hater.
LSU beat Ole Miss in overtime. Kentucky had to go to overtime. Wait, no, I'm sorry. Florida, Tennessee had to go to overtime. I was hoping Tennessee lost again, but whatever. They still weren't good. I'm a Tennessee hater, so. It was bonkers good football.
It was fun.
It was really great. And then yesterday NFL was mostly boring, honestly. Like there was not a lot of amazing stuff happening yesterday. It was pretty, I don't know.
Yeah.
I had games on in the background, but nothing was that captivating. I mean, it was funny seeing the Cowboys lose.
I heard it was like a total blowout.
It was a total blowout, and it was Jerry Jones' birthday. I was like, happy birthday.
Dude, someone said that they took like the score.
So
they took a picture of him and they put and they actually like blurred out the score because it was so bad.
He looked so sad sitting there.
He's not a good owner. I'm sorry. They've been awful for you. I'm like, have they ever been good under Jerry Jones? Maybe
you always think they're going to be good, and then they're not.
No, but you keep the same people. You keep doing the same thing. What do you expect? It's crazy.
I know. It's ridiculous. And then let's see.
Oh, Super Bowls in the 90s. Not that I can talk crap because the Dolphins haven't.
The game last night, I kind of saw some of the Sunday night football game.
It was a battle of mid is what that was.
Yeah, it was like, it's very surprising that Cincinnati is kind of like not very good this year.
But you know what I see from Cincinnati is they have in my opinion, they have the same problem as the Rams where they cannot figure out their O-line situation. Like they try, but they're just terrible at it. Mm-hmm. Because poor Joe Burrow, I mean, I think he's in better shape than Matthew Stafford just because he's 10 years younger. This dude's just getting the shit kicked out of him constantly. Like he might be the most sacked quarterback in the NFL
right now. See, I haven't I missed the last
it's pretty bad. I mean, the Bengals shouldn't be bad, but
no, they shouldn't.
They're not good. The Giants are also terrible. I mean, it was like every time you see a glimmer of hope, somebody's throwing an interception, or it's just like overall pretty bad.
So and then, we talked like just briefly. We texted about this. The Jets coach that got let go. I don't really know any more of the details about that, but all of the players are like, we love this guy, or at least most of the players I've seen are like totally in shock. Even Aaron Rodgers came out and was like, that had nothing to do with me. Now, I don't know what truth there is to that part, but I mean, he says nothing to do with him. So why did he get let go 5 games in?
Yeah, why is that?
Because Aaron Rodgers has more power than Robert Saleh did, and they keep losing. So what are they going to do? They're going to fire the quarterback that they put everything into and had no results from him the last 2 years, or are they going to fire the coach? I think it's easier to fire the coach. Honestly.
Yeah, so who's coaching then? Who's
some interim person from the team? I don't know.
Yeah, and I love Aaron Rodgers, obviously, but I just something's not clicking.
Yeah,
something's not clicking with the.
He needs to retire.
Yeah. I mean, and he could be great. That's why I'm like, that's like I do think he's very talented. Just something's not like with him and the team.
The
defensive
coordinator is the interim coach. The OC got demoted also. Yeah, I think that which weird because isn't Aaron Rodgers running the offense anyway? So like if it's not working, isn't that on him? I mean,
I don't know.
It is. I would think so.
He seems to have a lot of control there. Whether or not he planned on Saleh getting fired or not is, I don't know. I mean, there's no way to know that, but it seems like given Aaron Rodgers' ego, he had a hand in it. Or even if he didn't ask for it or whatever, it was just implied. They had to get rid of someone. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so tonight was the Bills and the Jets. So we'll see what happens, right?
Oh.
They're playing tonight.
Interesting. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. The Bills are another team I feel like that for years didn't do anything different and kept having the same results.
Yeah, but they're
got rid of Stephon Diggs. Yeah. And then, are they going to be good now? Or are they going to keep having the same woes, you know?
I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I mean, because they're kind of just like right there, right? Where they're just like, they could be great, but they're just really, really good. But they can't jump up that last hurdle to figure that out. So
exactly. There's like some hurdle. Are the Chiefs off this week?
Yeah, they're off this week.
Okay. Rams too. It was
Rams
nice
and
Dolphins.
Yeah, the Dolphins were off this week too. So I'm thinking that Tua might be back next week. Maybe.
Oh,
that would be good.
Because I thought it was like 4 games, which would be about.
That was a minimum because they put him on the whatever IR or something.
Yeah.
So
are we going into
4 weeks? I think.
Are we in week 6 right now or 5? End of 5, right? End of week 5.
I don't know.
So it should be interesting because now it's like I feel like you get to 5, 6, everything's kind of settled down where it's like this is where you're really going to be for this year. Because I feel like the first couple of games you're still trying to get everybody, your new players working together. And now it's like you've had a month or so. So let's see. It's going to be good.
We shall see.
It's going to be good. So.
Did you guys see the walking meme himself? Will Levis took out the ACL of like a sideline ball guy. Like this guy's always doing something ridiculous. He's always like flying through the air bizarrely or just doing weird stuff. That's like his celebration was like Spider-Man one yesterday, and then he's like running the ball and just flies off into the sidelines and tackles the knee of the ball guy. And the guy, the ball guy's leaving the field the way Aiden Hutchinson did in like an air cast on a cart laid down. Like, how does this guy just keep doing ridiculous shit?
It's a dangerous game out there on the sidelines.
I know. I feel bad for the Lions and Hutchinson though, because that injury was absolutely just gnarly. Like it took me a while. I was looking at a picture and it almost looks like something was just blurry and not real. And finally I realized it was his ankle, just foot like broken and wrapped around the other guy's leg. Like that was pretty awful. Like, you know, when a guy's laying on the ground immediately after he goes down and he's taking his gloves off already, I feel like, that he knows it's bad already. Like,
yeah.
That's pretty awful.
That is, Tris, that's like your man's favorite thing to do.
Gross.
The gnarlier, the better.
His leg noodled.
Yeah, it really did. It looked like, you know what? I saw somebody say this. I can't take credit for this, but I know this is a Harry Potter reference, but there's a time when someone's basically bone, it like goes from the leg. There's some spell cast on it. So it's just like a noodle. That's what it was like. It was like, there's no bone anymore. It's just a floppy leg. He just needs like the Skelegro that they use in Harry Potter that like grows your bone back.
I love your Harry Potter references. We had a child here one day, like about a year and a half ago, that was riding a one wheel and he fell and broke his wrist. And I have never been like, none of my children have like broken anything, right? And so luckily number one, it wasn't on my property. Sorry. No, number two was the neighbor down the street is an ER doctor, and I'm like, hey, can you just come down and check it out? Because I'm like, and I'm pretty sure because the kid was like all clammy, and you could just see it just hanging, like it broke like right here, and it was just like you're talking a noodle. It's just like you could, it's just like you just know, like you don't even need to like really look, and you don't need an X-ray. You're just like, that's broken.
Did he have that surgery?
He did, but my neighbor, he came in and he's like, I don't need to look. I can just see it in his face. It's totally broken. He's gonna have to. They're gonna knock him out, and they're gonna do surgery. And then his daughter was like so upset. Like, why would you say that in front of the kid? Like, you just scared that kid even more because, like, you know, knowing that they're gonna have to knock him out, they're gonna have to reset it. And
maybe I'd be happy if I know they're gonna put me under if I'm in that much pain. Please,
I think he was more in shock. Like, you know how you go into shock before the pain really sets in, and like you get like all clammy, and then he's like gray. You know, and I'm like, I'm like, what am I supposed to do? I'm not a doctor.
Well, you know, they had to do emergency surgery on Hutchinson, which I don't know exactly why, but it makes me think there's like, could have been like a vascular issue or something. Do you know what I mean? Because it's not normal that you need emergency surgery. Because it wasn't a compound fracture. It didn't break the skin. That's what the team said.
It had to be something like it was close to like maybe severing some type of like
something like that must have happened.
Because otherwise, a lot of times I know like nowadays I feel they wait right to get the swelling to come down. I don't know, I'm not a surgeon, but
emergency surgery makes me think that it was something like that. And I think it was even Matt that told me that because I'm like, why would you need emergency surgery? And I was like, oh right,
Yep. Okay, we're almost out of time. But this has been fun, ladies.
Yeah,
and I'm gone next week, so if you guys want to like, you know, chit chat, or I don't know, we'll talk about that off the air. So
we should do just a college football recap or something.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go get some more wings. I'll go live having some wings or something because I went to this place up the road that you can pay $2 extra and they'll give me all of the flats. I don't like the drummies. They gave me all of the flats, and then I was like, I want them extra crispy, not just a little done. Like I want them extra crispy. I got 15 and those things were good.
Nice.
So, what kind of sauce do you put on them?
I think I did. Well, I always do buffalo. I think I did medium just because.
Okay.
The hot's a little too hot for me.
That sounds so good. That sounds good. Although I don't like skin on my meat.
That's definitely got to be a short. But when it's crispy,
no,
though.
we can't. No,
when
we
it's
can't.
crispy, yeah, that is what she said.
I don't like a bone and skin on my meat.
I don't like
won't
bone
eat it.
in usually, but I only get bone in wings if somebody can do it extra crispy.
And I know
a wing without a bone is just a chicken tender.
It's like a chicken nugget. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a chicken nugget. Yeah. That's what I would rather have, a chicken nugget.
I would prefer to have the bone. Like I ordered from Costco.
Well, I know the bone's better because it's juicier.
Well, right. And so they had chicken thighs. I prefer dark meat.
That's also what she said.
Exactly. For the dark meat. And so I ordered the chicken thighs, and they don't have bone in them, but the way they butchered them was just insane. It was like all a mess. It was like a child butchered it with like like a machete or something. I was like, man, it'd be better just to sell it with the bone, so it's like a whole thigh, and then you can cook it properly. You know what I mean? I mean, if I'm really going to do proper fried chicken, I would just buy whole chickens and break them down and do it that way. But I haven't had time for that in a while. So
no one has time for that. No. Shortcut it.
But I also don't want the badly butchered wings that are just a mess.
Yeah,
agreed.
That does sound bad. All right, well, that wraps it up for our, college football food episode.
Yeah, love it. Yeah.
All right, don't forget to follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Reddit. Whoa. Also Apple and Spotify. You can listen to us there. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell a friend, and leave a comment or a question.
Yes, and we will be back with more snacks. I can't really get a bite of this, but we're
I gotta go
be back.
I'm starving.
Good stuff.